Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. I am so excited to share with you my newest illustration because it's actually a digital painting and it's my very first one, so yeah, I'm really excited about saying that I made a digital painting. Digital art is definitely my baby, and it's my favorite form of art, and it was what really attracted me when I was younger to taking art more seriously. Like, the art that you could create with the computer was just so magical to me, and I wanted to be able to be a part of that. So yeah, digital art is very important to me. You might be thinking, oh, you said this is your first digital painting, but I've seen you make digital art before. Yeah, I have, but the process of digital painting and the art style that I normally lean towards is very different, in my opinion. A normal process of creating art has a couple steps. It has the sketch process, then you add a second sketch layer where you like redefine everything, and then from there you lower the opacity of that, and then you add a line art, and then sort of like a coloring book, you fill in the line art that you've created, and then you can take it a step further and add shading and stuff from there. Digital painting is a bit different because you know how when you create your sketch and then when you add the line, sometimes it gets really stiff and you're like, it doesn't even really look like the sketch that I made before. Digital painting has a way of holding on to those sketches and keeping that life and that movement throughout until you're finished with the piece. It's also, personally, more difficult because instead of doing the step of adding line art, which I feel like really just it defines the piece and it tells you exactly where everything belongs and where it's going to be, and like you're not going to move it from there. Like once you do the line art, that's pretty much what the illustration is going to look like. So you have this like set final look, and then you just start adding the colors. And I feel like it brings you to that finalized stage faster, and I feel like I said I feel like a lot. Oh jeez. And that point you know what it's gonna look like, and you know if you need to start over or not, and you have that, it's like confirmation that what you're drawing looks decent. Whereas with digital painting and like a lot of traditional art and a lot of painting in general, it's a little bit fuzzier for a lot of the time, and you don't really know if it's going to turn out, and it looks ugly for a lot of the process. And the way my brain works, that's difficult for me to look at a piece that's not turning, like I think it's not turning out, but the thing is it's a process and you have to really stick it through to the end. But it just, it's very difficult for me to continue drawing something when it doesn't seem like it's working out. So digital painting has always been a struggle for me with that. But I knew it was there. I deliberately went and looked for it. I have this Loish tutorial from like a couple Kickstarters ago that she did, like one of her first books, I think. And she gave away a couple tutorials for digital painting as rewards. And I've had these and I've attempted to follow them in the past, and I always got really discouraged because of, like I said before, just the fact that it wasn't looking right as soon as I needed it to for my brain to feel accomplished. I don't know. And another thing about following tutorials, at least for me, is that if I try to follow it too closely and my piece doesn't look exactly like theirs, I get really discouraged as well. So I did two different things to tackle those problems this time. One, I made a pledge to myself. I will not give up until this is done. I'm not going to give up halfway and be like, oh, well, it's ugly, that's just the way it's going to be. No. That is part of the process. I have to continue and get it done. The second thing that I did differently this time around was that I actually sat down, watched the 20-minute tutorial, and then turned it off, looked away from it, and started doing my digital painting. So I've got a separation between my work and her work, and I think that was a major factor in helping me finish this, was that I wasn't constantly comparing myself to someone else's illustration, someone who has way more experience than me and like has been digital painting for a long time, you know, someone who knows what they're doing. When you're comparing yourself to someone who knows what they're doing, your stuff's not gonna look as good, okay? So the fact that you are going to compare yourself is really dumb. So I made sure that I didn't, and I kept it locked away as I created my piece, and made sure and focused on just making sure that mine was the best that I could make it, and not worrying about it not being as good as what she could do, you know? So I think those were two things that really, really helped me, and I definitely suggest them. That's actually something I used to do when I was younger too, and just learning how to draw, is I would copy other other artists' illustrations, and then I'd have it like printed out next to me while I was drawing it, and I'd get really discouraged again because mine wasn't looking exactly like theirs, even though I was copying it. And it's like, oh, why can't I can't even copy them? Like, they drew this out of their head and I can't even copy it good enough. And the way I got around that was I would look at their drawing and then I would try to draw it from memory and worry about making it the best that I could make it. And I always was happier that way, and like, don't really look back and see what theirs looked like. Just look at yours and be like, wow, this is way better than something that I would have drawn yesterday, kind of thing. Anyway, I definitely suggest that if you're having trouble improving upon something or learning a new skill and you're feeling discouraged that you're not learning it fast enough or that you're just not good enough, to definitely just take a step away from looking at what someone else has made and just worry about making your own art the best that you can make it. So yeah, definitely recommend. Another thing that I've always had trouble with for digital painting is just choosing the wrong colors for shading and things like that. Like, it always ends up looking really, really muddy. But one of the tips Loish had in her tutorial was using the color balance, what color balance toolbar, I guess it was called, in Photoshop. And holy moly did I probably abused this toolbar, but it really, really helped me. It kept unifying the colors. I feel like it made the color scheme just look better overall, and you're able to tweak like just the blues or just the pinks, and it's really, really cool tool. So I definitely suggest like just playing around with that. Like, I was having a lot of fun just playing with the sliders. So yeah, it's the color balance toolbar. It's really, really fun. Definitely use it on whatever you're drawing. If you're doing some digital art, it's really, really fun, and I feel like it just made my colors look awesome. So yeah, 10 out of 10. And then you'll see her hair is just huge and fluffy and curly. That was because I was following, again, the Loish tutorial, and I was like, well, if I'm going to shamelessly rip off her tutorial, I might as well really try to throw as much of like inspiration of her art into this piece as possible. So I decided to add huge, voluminous, long hair. The braid was my idea. I just like braids, so. The braid, though, I was like, why did I decide to do this? It's so complicated. But I think it turned out really, really well, and I'm quite happy with that. I should be honest, though, even though I'm talking like this all went super, super well and like, oh, I can be a digital artist now, I did struggle throughout this piece. There was a time when I really wanted to give up, and this was going in just the wrong direction, but I took a step back. I actually went back to an older layer that I had and like started over again, not from the very beginning, but like halfway through-ish points, and it started going a lot better from there. But yeah, art doesn't come just easy to me. I just enjoy the process, and sometimes I get a little frustrated, but we all do. It's all right. But I'm really optimistic now, because coming out of this piece, finishing this illustration, I had so much fun. Like, I can't even explain to you how much fun I had doing this, because I don't know. It's just insane, because since I've finished this, all I can think about is how I want to do better next time, and how I want to fix like these certain things, and like how, oh, if I had just done this could have been like, oh, like if I had done this way back when, like to set up the piece, I could have done this part so much better, and like things like that. And I'm like, have all these ideas for things that I want to draw, and like, if I wasn't recording this audio right now, I'd be creating another painting right now. That is how excited and like how much I want to be digital painting right now. That's just what I want to be doing. So yeah, that's like, I'm super thrilled, because I've actually been, and I think I talked about this in my watercolor video last week, that I was feeling a bit down about my art and wasn't very excited about anything. And like, I was kind of just drawing because I knew that it was something that I really loved, and that I would be kind of embarrassed with myself if I like gave up on it just because I didn't feel like it at the time, and like I wanted to keep pushing myself and to get better and things like that. So the fact that I pushed through and now I'm like super excited and I really want to do stuff right now it's just just stick to it, guys. Like, it's awesome. This feeling is amazing, and I wish it on every single one of you, because yes, I'm in a very good mood. Anyway, you'll see I'm finishing up this piece right now. I added another thing Loish does on her art is she adds noise. And once I had done that, I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of her art, because I've always noticed that there was that like noise that she adds to her piece at the end. So I did that, and like I finished it off using all of her little tutorials and stuff. But yeah, look at that. That is my this is my first digital painting. I'm so excited, and I'm actually quite proud of it, even though, you know, like I said, some parts through it I was a little wasn't sure if it was going to turn out, but I stuck to it and it came out just kind of like these last couple weeks. I stuck through it and now I'm in a better place. So yeah, I'm very, very, very happy. So yeah, wish you all a very wonderful evening full of waffles. I hope it's delicious, and yeah, bye. I just realized you might not know who Loish is. I'll have a link in the description because she's amazing. You need to check out her art. Okay.